You're in your car, or maybe you're just finally closing your laptop.
Yep, that end of day moment.
Right. And you look back at the last, I don't know, 8 hours, and you have been an absolute machine. You put out 3 fires before lunch. I mean, problems that would have totally derailed anyone else.
Mhm.
You saw a crisis coming that no one else was even looking for. You were the emotional anchor for a coworker who was, spiraling. You were the bedrock.
You were the go-to, the person holding the roof up.
Exactly, the glue.
Yeah.
But then the day ends, and it's just silence. There's no ticker tape parade. No, thank you for saving us.
Not even a nod sometimes.
Not even a nod. You feel like you're doing everything right. You're executing at this super high level, but you are somehow flying completely under the radar. It's this weird, dissonant feeling of, I know I'm essential, but I also feel completely invisible.
Oh, that is such a heavy, lonely feeling. It's when your contributions cross that line from being appreciated to just being expected.
Yes.
It's the unspoken thing of, well, of course you handled it. That's just what you do.
Yeah.
Why would we celebrate gravity for, holding us down?
That is the exact feeling we are unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into this blog post that I think is going to resonate with so many people. It's called You Still Matter, even if they don't see it yet. And I have to say, reading it felt a little like someone was reading my diary.
It's a really powerful piece, and it's not just some generic pat-on-the-back article. It's from Carrie Masadi. And we have to talk about how she introduces herself because it frames the whole energy of this conversation.
Oh, I love her titles. We have to list them. She's a lifestyle encourager, a confidence catalyst, and, this is my personal favorite, a sparkle coach for women ready to shine.
I know, it sounds very glittery.
It does sound fun, right? But the content, it is deep.
So deep. She uses that sparkle idea to get into some really serious psychology around self-worth. This isn't just about, complaining you didn't get a compliment. We're looking at the trap of being too reliable.
Right.
The psychology of invisibility and how you recognize your own value when the whole world is just dead silent.
It's about finding that sparkle even when no one is holding a flashlight up to you. So buckle up. We're going to get reflective, a little psychological, and hopefully help you see yourself a little bit differently by the end of this.
Let's get into it.
So Carrie starts this whole piece by identifying what she calls a subtle ache. And that phrase, it just stuck with me. It's not a sharp pain. It's not some big crisis. It's that low-level ache when your efforts aren't reflected back at you.
She puts it so well. She says it's the lack of recognition, the lack of appreciation, and this is the part that gets me, the words people don't say.
The words people don't say. Wow, that hits home. It's the silence where a thank you or a wow, great job should be, why does that hurt so much? I mean, logically, we know we did a good job.
Because we're social creatures.
Yeah.
We're just wired for these feedback loops. You put energy out, you instinctively wait for some kind of echo.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't come back, your brain just starts telling stories to fill that gap.
Stories like, did I not do it well enough? Or do they not care?
Exactly. Am I invisible? And Carrie, she frames this specifically, though, not exclusively for women over 40.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about this stage of life where the whole perception of you just shifts.
Right, the invisibility cloak of middle age.
That's it. You stop being seen as, like, radiant or dynamic, and you just start being viewed as reliable.
Reliable, solid, steady, safe. Okay, I want to pause on these words. Because on paper, if someone called me solid and steady, I'd think, great, I'm doing my job. I'd put that on a performance review.
Of course.
But Carrie is suggesting there's a shadow side to those compliments.
Oh, a massive shadow side. It's what we could call the paradox of competence. When you're solid and steady and safe, you become part of the infrastructure. You're the foundation.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Think about a building. People walk in, they compliment the chandelier, the view, the art on the walls. Nobody walks in and says, wow, look at this slab foundation, holding up all this concrete so beautifully.
That is such a good analogy because if the foundation is doing its job perfectly, you don't even know it's there.
You don't.
You only notice the foundation if it cracks.
Precisely. And that's the trap. By being so excellent at holding things together, by being the one who never drops a ball, you inadvertently make yourself invisible. You become furniture. You become the Wi-Fi.
Not the Wi-Fi. That's
You're always there, always functional, so people stop seeing the effort it takes to be that steady. They stop seeing the maintenance you do to keep providing that signal.
And that's where that ache comes from. It's not that you want a parade every time you do the laundry or finish a spreadsheet. It's that you don't want to feel like a utility.
Yes.
You want to be seen as a person, distinct from the service you provide.
And this is where Carrie makes this critical distinction. I think it's the real crux of the issue. She contrasts reliable with radiant. Society often acts like you can't be both. If you're the safe, steady mom figure or the veteran employee, you aren't the exciting, dynamic one. You've been boxed in. But Carrie, she really challenges that. She says, just because someone doesn't recognize your worth doesn't mean it's not there.
That's the quote of the day right there.
Yeah.
Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's like the sun is still shining even if you have your blinds closed. The sun's value hasn't changed. Your ability to see it has.
Exactly. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, we have to talk about visibility versus value. We live in this culture, especially with social media, that just screams for attention.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not viral, if it's not loud, if it's not getting likes, we assume it's not important.
Yeah.
We totally conflate being seen with being valuable.
It's that whole main character energy thing. Everyone wants to be the star. But Carrie argues that visibility is not a reflection of value at all. She makes this great point that some of the most influential people in our lives were probably not the ones shouting from the rooftops.
Just think about the people who actually shaped who you are, the ones who fundamentally changed your trajectory.
Were they the loudest people in the room? Or were they just there?
You know, this part of the blog, it triggered a memory for me. It reminded me of a teacher I had in high school, Mr. Henderson. He taught history. And he wasn't the cool teacher. He didn't, stand on desks like in Dead Poet Society. He was just incredibly consistent. Every single day, he was at his desk early. The room was always calm. If you were panicking about a test or just life, he would just listen.
He was a safe harbor.
Exactly. And at the time, I don't think we gave him an award. We didn't hype him up. We probably took him completely for granted because he's just part of the school. But looking back now, years later, I realize his classroom was the only place my nervous system actually settled down. His reliability was the most radiant thing in my life back then. I just didn't have the words for it.
That is a perfect example of what Carrie calls unknowing influence. She writes that you are making a difference in rooms you don't even know you're influencing.
Mr. Henderson probably didn't know he was your anchor. He probably drove home some days feeling that ache, wondering if he was getting through to anyone. And for you listening right now, feeling invisible, you might be someone's Mr. Henderson. You're so in safe space, and you might not know it, because safety is quiet.
Safety is quiet. That's powerful. Chaos is loud. Drama is loud. Safety, it doesn't make a sound.
It doesn't. Which leads us perfectly into the practical side of this, because even if we know this logically, it still feels crummy to be overlooked. So Carrie, being the sparkle coach, she doesn't just leave us with the philosophy, she gives us sparkle tools.
Yes. The 3 reminders to tuck into your heart. I love that phrasing. It's so gentle. These aren't weapons to fight the world with. They're truths to hold for yourself. Let's go through them.
Let's do it.
Okay, reminder number 1 is the limited lens.
This is the one that says, what one person misses doesn't diminish your brilliance. Their lens is limited. Your light is not.
Okay, the limited lens. This is all about realizing that other people's blindness isn't actually about you, right?
It is purely about their capacity. I mean, imagine you are a high-definition 4K IMAX movie. You are complex, vibrant, full of color. But the person watching you, your boss, your partner, whoever, is trying to view you on a tiny, cracked flip phone screen from 2005.
I love that visual. That's so good.
The movie is a masterpiece, but the device, the lens, it just can't capture. It's all pixelated and buffering. That's not the movie's fault. So when someone doesn't see you, it's often because they're distracted or stressed, or they just emotionally lack the bandwidth to see the depth of what you're offering.
So the takeaway is, don't dim your light just to fit on their tiny screen.
Precisely. And do not internalize their limitation as your flaw. If they can't see the detail, it's because their resolution is low, not because you aren't detailed.
That is a huge mental shift. It moves you from what's wrong with me to, oh, they just can't see it right now.
It creates a healthy emotional distance.
Okay, let's move to reminder number 2. And I have to say, this one is my absolute favorite. It just feels so countercultural. Carrie writes, not everything powerful makes noise. Sometimes the ripple is louder than the splash.
Sometimes the ripple is louder than the splash. That is profound.
It really is, because
Damn.
we are obsessed with the splash. We want the cannonball, the big launch, the viral moment, the grand gesture.
But think about the physics of a splash. A splash is It's violent, it's high energy, it gets everyone wet,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Instantly, the water settles. A splash is temporary.
In a ripple.
A ripple travels, a ripple moves outward, ring after ring, touching things so far away from the point of impact, it lasts longer. It covers more distance.
It goes back to that idea of the slow burn versus the explosion, the things you do every single day, packing the lunches, checking spreadsheets for errors, listening to a friend vent again. Those are the ripples. They don't make a sound, but they sustain life.
Exactly. History is written about the splashes, the battles, the catastrophes, but civilization is built on the ripples, the daily acts of duty and care. Carrie is validating that long game of just being a good person. Your quiet consistency is actually more powerful than the person making a scene.
Which brings us to the third reminder, and this one. This one feels like the heavy hitter. Reminder 3. Your self-worth isn't earned, it's remembered.
Oof, yeah. This is the psychological pivot. We've come so much of our lives, especially in that reliable mode, operating on this transactional basis. We think, if I do enough, if I'm good enough, if I carry enough of the load, then I'll be valuable.
It's the treadmill of proving yourself. I am what I produce.
Yes, I am what I do for others. And Carrie is saying, stop the treadmill, get off. You don't earn worthiness like it's a paycheck. You don't trade your labor for your value as a human. Sort of there, you forgot.
It's remembered. That suggests the worth was there when you were born, before you ever did a single reliable thing.
Yes.
Mm.
Think about a baby. A baby doesn't do anything useful. They don't pay rent. They don't clean up. They keep you awake at night.
Right. They're pretty inconvenient.
Totally inconvenient. But when you look at a baby, do you question their value? No. They're infinitely valuable just because they exist.
That's true. We don't say, I'll love this baby once he gets a job.
Exactly. You haven't lost that value just because you grew up and started paying taxes. You just stopped seeing it in yourself because you got busy trying to earn it from other people. Carrie's telling you to go back to the factory settings.
That is, wow. Okay. I think we all need to sit with that for a second. You don't have to earn the right to take up space.
And that leads to how we actually internalize this sparkle, as she calls it. It's not just knowing these things intellectually. It's about the story that's playing in your head. Because if you keep telling yourself, I'm just the background character, you will start to fade. You will agree to your own invisibility.
She warns against that slow fade. And she counters it with these really strong affirmations. Now, usually I can be a little skeptical of affirmations, but these felt really grounded. I wrote them down. She says, you are not invisible. You are not average. You are not behind.
And then the last part.
You are important. Right now, as you are.
It's a declaration. And notice the timing. Right now. Not when you lose 10 pounds. Not when you get the promotion. Not when they finally say thank you. Right now.
And then she pivots to the why. Why do we keep showing up if we aren't getting the applause? And Carrie says, keep shining, not for them, for you.
That is the critical shift in motivation. If you're being reliable and excellent only to get validation, you will always be hungry. You'll always be at the mercy of someone else's mood. You're giving them the remote control to your self-esteem.
Right. If they have a bad day and don't praise you, your whole day crashes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you shine, because that's just who you are, because excellence is your nature, because you take pride in being the bedrock, then their blindness doesn't matter. You're shining for the joy of the light itself, not for their applause.
It's about reclaiming your own power. You're being reliable because you're a person of integrity.
Yes, it makes you bulletproof against their indifference.
Now, before we wrap up, I have to mention one little tangible tip she throws in, because sometimes, we need a physical reminder. She talks about wearing your worth.
Oh yeah, using jewelry or something as a totem?
It sounds simple, but I actually love the psychology here. It's not about showing off. It's about putting on a necklace or a ring that acts as a physical anchor.
It's a cognitive trigger. It's like a technique from CBT. You associate a specific thought, I am valuable, with a physical object. So in the middle of a chaotic day, you feel the weight of that necklace and it snaps you back.
It interrupts the negative thought pattern.
Exactly. It's a little signal to yourself that says, hey, remember, you matter.
So we've gone on quite a journey here. We started with that ache of feeling invisible. We moved to understanding that reliable is actually a form of radiance that just burns quieter and warmer.
We realized our worth isn't a paycheck we earn. It's our birthright that we just need to remember. And we learned that just because someone has a cracked lens doesn't mean our picture isn't perfect.
If we synthesize all this, the message is clear. You're holding up more of your world than you realize. And the fact that people lean on you without thinking about it is a testament to your strength, even if it feels like being taken for granted. But the key is you have to stop waiting for them to tell you you're strong.
That's it. That is the key. Stop outsourcing your self-esteem.
And I want to leave everyone listening with a question. We talked about keep shining, not for them, for you. So my question, and I'm asking myself this too, is if you stopped waiting for applause today, if you fully accepted right now that no one was going to say good job, how would that change the way you show up for yourself tomorrow?
That's a profound question.
Would you rest more? Would you maybe say no to things you do just to please others? Would you be proud of yourself sooner?
Would you finally enjoy your own company? That's the goal. Be proud of yourself sooner.
Well, this has been such a refreshing deep dive. It feels like we just took a deep breath. If you want to soak up more of this energy, you can read the full blog and discover more of Carrie Mazzotti's Sparkle tools at thesparklelounge.com.
Yeah, she's got a Sparkle Hub there with the jewelry she mentioned, and you can subscribe for her weekly Sparkle emails. It's a really great resource.
Absolutely. Go check it out. And hey, to you listening right now, you matter. You are doing a great job, and your ripple is making waves even if you can't see the shore yet.
You are important right now, as you are.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.